Hey, I'm Willie, and this is Auditorium for One. Arlo Parks collapsed in Sunbeams. Vinyl pressing. We've specifically got the super exciting mustard variant here. So we'll talk about that a little bit, talk about the album, and see what I thought overall. So this was definitely a pick that was not something that I would have reached for. I'd heard some of the singles coming out with this, heard and watched the Tiny Desk. Overall, didn't really do a lot for me. My wife was very into it. She went ahead and pulled the trigger on this one, and at the end of the day, I'm glad she did. I had not listened to any of it on my main system on the big stereo, so I kind of didn't know really what I was missing. I wasn't expecting it to be super well produced and super well executed. I was kind of actually even surprised by the amount of hype this album was getting, especially from other artists and other artists that I really enjoy. I did notice on Instagram and, other social media formats where a lot of people seem to be talking about this. It seemed to have a pretty good amount of buzz, especially for a debut album coming out. The lead single, Hurt, is probably my favorite on here. That is really great. Really, really enjoyed that song. And when it comes to the pressing and the full album, overall, I underrated it at the beginning. I'm really, really impressed with this. So let's dive into the pressing a little bit. Cover art doesn't do much for me. Pretty bland. Packaging, simple, not gatefold jacket. I do kind of like this red interior to tie into the front. I do think that's just a nice little classy touch that you don't see all the time. So I do like that. There is a fold-out poster in here that will pretty much stay in there forever. I did pull that out to just kind of look at it, take a photo, and put it right back in there. It will probably stay for the rest of eternity. Mustard yellow, very boring. That's very much the sake of colored for being colored, in my opinion. Doesn't really add anything to the album at all. I do like they went solid color, so at least it is fairly clean pressing. Overall, discog reviews are pretty mixed. I was surprised to see a lot of people saying that they had a lot of issues with theirs, a lot of surface noise, a lot of sound. I personally did not experience that. It's not a perfect pressing. Almost any major modern pop release is not a perfect pressing. It seems to be pretty rare. But the surface noise is pretty low, very acceptable, dead flat, one of the flattest records I've gotten in the past 6 months. No wave anywhere without any weight or anything on the turntable. So overall, physical pressing, really good. 180 gram. I think that's a nice touch, especially being able to keep it flat. A lot of times it's where you see the biggest warps with a lot of new stuff or even dishing from the cooling process. So it's nice to see this one physically well executed. As far as the sound, I was stunned. I went into this not expecting much. I'm not saying it's the greatest sounding album of the year, of the decade, any of those types of big claims. I just went into it knowing this is a debut artist, pop release, vinyl album on color. That's usually a formula for a very mediocre sounding pressing. This record does not qualify for that, I don't think. I think it's a very, very good sounding pressing. I'm very excited that we own it. I'm very glad that my wife decided to pull the trigger on this one. So it's really, really good. I think the vinyl experience is well enough executed that it's 110% worth buying, especially because, again, they kept the prices reasonable with the simple jacket. They didn't include an upcharge for that poster throw-in. Overall, A++. Could not be happier about this one. Absolutely think you should get it. But again, luck of the draw, discogs reviews seem to disagree. So, take that as you will.